Welcome aboard to our last broadcast of the day here in the PSCL, the third of three games here. We're hoping this was the most exciting of the three. Had a good one for the last one you had. And happy to have you join us here for this broadcast, Sam Egan, alongside Luke Dreyer. For the Bootleggers, their season is all but in the rearview mirror. And as Henry Luther takes the first pitch strike, I think the best approach for them here in this ballgame today is kind of to attack kind of how Turkey did against the United States in the World Cup in the last game of the knockout, or the group stage, I should say, where, yes, you don't have much to play for other than pride, but it's a great chance to still boost your numbers and have something good to write home about as you complete your summer.
Yeah, not playing for a playoff spot anymore, but still trying to get those numbers up. Any colleges watching these guys are still going to want to see them try in this last game, as it looks like Isaiah Martin is a little shook up, taking foul ball off the hand. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, you definitely hope he's okay. He's been one of the best hitters across the PSCL this season, leading the Haymakers in average by far. He looks like, in the words of Taylor Swift, who has a pretty big event coming up, looking to just shake it off. Congratulations to the future Kelseys.
Counts 0-2, and batter steps back in. Worthkin looking for a first strikeout of the game.
And he indeed gets it. Good call there. Swing and miss, strike three. Down goes Luther. First batter of the game. Retired on strikes. And Mark McLean looking to start a rally with one away.
Worthkin is the third pitcher in the three-headed monster of these Haymakers with the Crawford brothers, Tyler and Connor, and Worthkin rounds out the trio. They will be looking to make a run in the PSCL playoffs next week.
See a lot of teams with premier bats across the PSCL, but one thing that's maybe undervalued is the importance of pitching. If you have a team that has a couple of complete arms, we know a couple of these teams have an ace, but gets a little shaky after that. So when you have a team that has 2-3 consistent arms that you can trot out, that's really important when you get to a playoff where every game is one day after another.
Yep, definitely important to have multiple starting pitchers that can go the distance, and all three of these guys definitely can. And they have Swinford, who comes on the mound. He usually plays in at second base. Today it's Tyler Crawford, as that ball grounded back to Worthkin, and he'll get the PFP back at first base. But yeah, these Haymakers got really good pitching. Their bats have struggled at times, but when their pitchers are locked in, it doesn't really matter about their batting, because the Crawford brothers and Worthkin, they all have the potential to really throw complete game shutouts with how talented they all are.
Sometimes a few runs is all you need with this team. We've seen, especially at the college level, if you have a few good arms, that's all you really need. Yes, sometimes you'll face a team that has been known for their hitting at points all season, but when you face a team with a couple of stretches of really good arms, that can force bats to go ice cold as that one is lined, and that's 3 up and 3 down, an efficient start for Worthkin in this first inning, and he'll hope to get some run support early. It hasn't been a theme for the Haymakers to get on the board early, but they'll hope to do so here against a struggling Bootleggers team when we return. And bottom half of the first inning, just about to get underway. It's Hamarillo, West, and Gianbianco, the three due up for the Haymakers. Samuel Hamarillo. I believe the E is silent. Not often you see a silent E at the start of the name.
Yep. Could be Samuel Jaramillo as well.
Nevertheless, he grounds the second pitch of the inning over to the third baseman in Ciara. Quick 5-3, and that's out number one.
And I know we've mentioned it on the previous few broadcasts, but a lot of these pitchers settling in this last week. A lot of quick outs in these first few innings with these batters swinging away. And that is more of the same here for Jamie Ochoa of the Bootleggers.
It's a promising sign, and of course, for some of these guys, you're maybe hoping that the season was just a little bit longer so you can boost those stats, especially for the pitchers who are struggling with walks. Have a whip ERA that's a little bit skewed because of a rough outing or two, but they've settled in nicely. The runs have decreased as the days have gone on.
Yeah, in this shorter season, 1 or 2 bad outings can really mess up those numbers, but a lot of these guys have been very good as the season has gone on. This last week, we have seen a lot closer games, a lot lower scoring, whereas the first week we had a lot of elevated scores, mainly due to walks, but the walks have not been as prevalent here and hopefully will not be so today.
And I think that wasn't improved any more than what we saw yesterday, and I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit jealous of you, man. I've gone to probably, counting like games I've played in, probably thousands of baseball games in my life. Never once seen, well, I've been a part of like 4 high school no-hitters where one of my teammates threw. But other than that, like at the professional level, at the college level, I've never seen a no-hitter. And in your first game that you're calling, you nearly get one.
Yep, for those that aren't familiar, yesterday we had the Chill facing off against the North Stars, and the Chill had a no-hitter through 6 1/3 innings. It was an absolute spectacle. Unfortunately, it was broken up by Cash Sutton of the North Stars, but Gael Martinez, no-hitter through 6. He did give up a few walks and 2 hit by pitches, but almost had the no-hitter on the day, but just couldn't quite pull it out. 2 outs away. He did finish the game and only gave up 1 hit, but just what an outing from Gael Martinez and a great showing from the Chill yesterday.
And for Gael Martinez, he's a guy who's still looking for a home. So a performance like that, any kid in college can see that and almost fall in love with instantly. Be like, I need that guy on my staff.
Yeah, he threw a lot of strikes yesterday, was in head in almost every count, it felt like. That slider was just doing work for him. And for anybody out there watching, that performance is one to watch. If you are looking for a guy that can throw strikes, and he also finished the day with 10 strikeouts, which in a 7-inning game is beyond impressive. So definitely a guy to take a look at. Gael Martinez from the Chill, and I hope we see more of him in the playoffs.
I mean, that's the exact start you want to have going into the postseason. That one's on the ground, fouled by Gianbianco. You carry that momentum in the postseason. We've talked about this Haymakers team having such a prominent pitching staff, but shot out of a cannon, out of nowhere, Gael Martinez, and if he can build upon that into the postseason, the Chill, who already have a potent offense, pitching has been their one weakness this season. And if they got that sorted out by Gael Martinez, it can be a sneaky contender. The PSCL playoffs as Bianco lines this one in the right center field gap. That will be an extra base hit. Windmill being sent for West. There will be no play. The play will go to third. Bianco slides in there safely. And that is a 3-bagger that plates across the first run of the ball game.
92 off the bat, 335 to center. Center field never had a chance at it, just flew right over his head. And Bianco in there with the triple. Haymakers getting some early offense, which is what they need going into these playoffs. We've talked about it. They have the pitching, but the bats have been in question this year. And ramping up into these playoffs, they are hot. So they're definitely a team to watch out for, and I would not want to draw them if I was any other team in the PSCL.
Oh, absolutely not. And this is a guy who set a pretty solid year at the plate in Miles Washington. Hope for him to get on and get it over to the guy who's been their best hitter this season is Isaiah Martin. They have him in the 5 spot. That's where he's been all season long. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And for a guy who's hitting well above 400.
Batting anywhere from that 4 to 6 spot. He'll usually come up in the first with runners on, and if he doesn't, it usually means he's first or second in the second inning. So early offense, put him in a good spot. He's made people pay when they've given him the chance. Swing and miss there from Washington. He goes down 1-2, but Isaiah Martin definitely has been the hottest bat for the Haymakers, and the guys around him, Bianco and Washington, have done a good job of getting on in front of him.
Washington behind 1-2, and he waves and misses strike 3, the second out of the inning. And to put a bow on that previous thought on Martin, touch you why you have him in that 5 spot. You talk about gets a lot of opportunities to drive in runs, or he can be a table setter in the next inning, be a leadoff guy, get aboard, and hopefully get around. And in this situation here, 2-out RBI opportunity. And for the Bootleggers, you're hoping to just get out of this with 1, and for the Haymakers, it would be ever more of a momentum boost to get 1 more, especially with 2 away. Taking downstairs for strike 1 is Martin.
Definitely an interesting early bat for Martin. If he can get this one in play, possible run scorer if it gets into the outfield, but just looking for anything to hit here. Didn't like the first one. We'll see what he decides to do with the second pitch.
He is feasted on pitches up in the zone and got one right there, and it's lined and caught. Diving stop by Ciara. What a play, and that'll do it for the inning. Haymakers get 1, but that's all, and the Bootleggers looking to return the favor in the top half of the second here on the PSCL YouTube channel. Top half of the second inning. Got a little bit confused for a second. Was about to say bottom half with the Bootleggers being in the third base side. Typically that's the home side, but I'll flip-flop today. Hassler, Kepner, and Neal. The middle of the lineup here. Looking to play across the first round and, quite frankly, the first hit so far at the ball game for the Bootleggers. I know it's early. Only the second inning, but still no hits yet. And with you in the booth, I just feel like there's some sort of like charm. Ever since you've gotten here, the pitching quality has just gotten better. I don't know if they hired you to be like a pitching coach for everybody or what's happened, but we've been able to get the TrackMan done, and we've been able to see much better pitching performances.
Yeah, for those that don't know, my name is Luke Dreyer. I run the TrackMan here for these PSCL and the Palm Springs Power games. But for some reason, I think that the pitchers realizing that TrackMan is now tracking all their pitches, they have all just absolutely ramped it up in these last 2 weeks. Much better pitching games. Almost had a no-hitter the other day. And Worthkin struggling a little bit in this at-bat now, but another good pitching performance earlier today from Jacob Ginn. He was solid through 4. Unfortunately, the Coyotes could not close it out. They ended up giving up 6 runs in the top of the 7th and ended up losing that game 8-6. But for everybody else, for whatever reason, the TrackMan seems to have given them a big boost to their pitching.
Gives them a little bit added motivation as there's ball 4, the first base runner of the ball game for the Bootleggers will reach on a walk. Hassler leads off the inning and gets aboard.
Worthkin struggling a little in that bat. Was missing that fastball inside. See if he can get it in the zone here, possibly get a double play.
Having to work out of the stretch for the first time here today, and he fires in the first pitch ball. Steven Neal's on deck. He's struggled a bit in the PSCL this season. I'd like to get to him with 1 out. Potentially force twin killing that could end the inning. But you got to deal with the guy in the box first in Kepner. Guy who is already ahead in the count 2-0. To make him uncomfortable, jam him inside on the 2-0, and he does, strike 1.
Worthkin able to find his zone again there. We'll see if he can keep it going. Struggled a little bit, but he had a very good first inning, looking to bounce back here in the second after giving up a walk. Gets another swing and miss on that fastball.
I think he's got to keep continuing to go to the inside. Kepner just looks uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, just trying to pull the hands in and pull something up the line. Just can't quite make contact with it. It looks a bit.
Lines this one up the middle, base hit, and it's by the center fielder. Everyone's running for days as it gets pie west. Play's going to go to second. Kepner's in there with a double.
That'll go down as a hit. Center fielder didn't get a great read on it. Ball drops in front, gets past him, and as a result, Kepner able to slide into second. And now, runners on second and third. Worthkin going to have to find something if he wants to get out of this inning, only allowing a run. And if there's anybody that he can do it against, Steven Neal has struggled recently. So looking for a strikeout, something hard on the ground to keep that runner at third. And then Ricky Cordova coming up after that. But first, Worthkin will have to get through Steven Neal.
Cordova, he's had a solid weekend. When he's been on the field, he's produced. Already behind 0-2 here is Neal. Just attacking the strike zone is Worthkin and doing a fantastic job of it. The 0-2. Got him. Window shopping right there was Neal. He was expecting fastball on 0-2, or maybe wasn't expecting the breaking ball to stay up in the zone. Nevertheless, wasn't ready for it, and it's going to be up to Ricky Cordova to try and bring in these runs.
Worthkin with a great slider to drop in for a strike there. After 2 fastballs, and Neal thought that one was going high, and then it just sinks down, catches the zone. He's sent shopping.
Cordova, it's a chopper over to the shortstop. Fields in time, throw a little bit wide, but first baseman in Landeros is able to recover, make the tag, and runners don't go anywhere. So all of a sudden, just when it seemed like any sort of contact, anything put a play would score a run. A strikeout and now an infield ground out that couldn't score the runner. And now it really puts Jose Arita in a tough spot to salvage the inning.
Bootleggers, not the fastest team on the bases, so they were going to need some help. Didn't get it with the strikeout and then a hard ground to third. And those runners are standing exactly where they were with no outs.
My apologies. I think we have a bit of a flip in the lineup here. It's Gavin Ryerson getting the nod here, and he hits one up the middle softly. Takes a weird hop, but corralled cleanly and able to make the play for out number 3. Bootleggers, and they lead connection from Crawford to Londeros ends the inning. For the Haymakers, as they nobody out for the in the bottom half of the second inning. Jacob Horselman, who's typically a leadoff hitter for this Haymakers team, is going to be leading off the second inning instead, batting in the 6th spot. He's been their traditional leadoff guy for the large majority of the season, but the rough last 4 games or so, he's got demoted a little bit in the lineup, and we'll see if this fires him up to have a big performance. Ahead 2-0.
It's still in a favorable spot here for him. Or maybe not favorable, but definitely familiar leading off this inning. 1-1 count, looking to put something in play. He's got good speed. He definitely has the potential to beat out a ground ball. Into the out one. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1.
I think first he'd like a pitch to hit, and Horseman hasn't exactly gotten that yet. So it's him, Crawford, and Worthkin. 3 due up for the Haymakers, and they're hoping they send a little bit more than that to the plate, as that one's on a line, center field, but caught. Make a nice play on the run is McLean for out number 1.
Tough break there for Corseman. That one 98 off the bat, just right at the center fielder. Got to remind himself that sometimes it's not always about the outcome. That was a great piece of hitting there. Got ahead in the count, good contact, just not where you want it. But if he keeps having at-bats like that, he will have success.
And I think the important thing for Corselman right there is in baseball, it's such a mental game. You got to go back to the dugout with your head held like, yeah, you did not get a hit. You did not get a hit. You wanted to be a leadoff, wanted to get a leadoff guy, get a ball. But when you hit a ball at 98 miles an hour, you did everything right as a hitter. You hit it right up the middle, just unfortunately right at somebody.
Yeah, I saw him get some fist bumps from guys on the bench. Doesn't look too happy with the out there, but like we said, he's got to remind himself that even though it wasn't out, it was still a good swing.
And no one's ever going to really be happy with an out, but that's one you can't really let loom over your head, because that could lead to outs that are maybe a little bit more uncharacteristic, can lead to strikeouts, and instead of having the other team beat you, you start beating yourself.
Yep, definitely want to stay in a positive mindset after that at bat. They still got the lead. They are playing in the playoffs. Got to get ready for those. And Tyler Crawford has worked himself into a 3-1 count. That ball thrown to the pitcher, but skips off the mound. And Ochoa will need to find a strike here if he wants to avoid Crawford reaching first.
Yami Ochoa already facing a 1-0 deficit, the 3-1. Ball 4. So a 1-out walk for Tyler Crawford. He's hoping the bottom of the order can pass the baton and pick him up and bring him around.
So Tyler Crawford starting off at second base today. He also pitches, and he is one of the PSCL guys that gets called up to power games. He has pitched for the Power and pitched very well for them. And when he comes back down to the PSCL, he has been absolutely dominant. And playing that second base, he is very solid as a fielder as well. So good to see him playing multiple positions. Like to see him bat. Just a guy that can really do it all.
He's a guy that's dominated at any level this season, so that goes to show you that if you're a college coach and you're looking for quality bat, a great arm, someone who can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just be an overall great teammate, Tyler Crawford's your guy. And his twin brother, Connor, also an incredible baseball player as well.
Yeah, that duo, probably the best pitching duo in the PSCL. Both of them have high 80s fastballs, wipeout sliders. Connor throws the changeup a little more than Tyler does, and that is also a great pitch. But, I mean, both of them, when they are on the mound, the other team is just shaking in their boots.
I think we've had this discussion before, Luke, where that one's up the middle, off the diving second baseman and through for a base hit. Working with a single, 2 on, 1 out. We were talking about this, I think, earlier in the week, how I feel like I like the changeup a little bit more than the slider because I feel like everyone throws a slider now. The changeup is a little bit more rare, and sometimes when everyone's looking from left to right, if you go up and down, it causes a little bit more deception.
Yeah, slider is definitely a good pitch for this righty-righty matchup. Changeup, tendency to cut in. That one just didn't quite have the break on it. But, yeah, I do like the changeup as a pitch. Can get a lot of guys ahead. That was a great slider there from Ochoa. Drop in for a strike. But changeup, that lefty-righty, such a tough pitch to hit. A lot of ground balls, a lot of swings and misses. Especially when you're talking about Connor Crawford, who can throw it up to 9 on his fastball.
And for Ochoa here, we've stacked sliders. Both of them, the filtered, last one filtered, this one filtered, this one filtered, and this one filtered in the first. You got to go with it again right here, right? He's gone inside it both times. You think you got to just extend it on the
Try to
other
throw
half.
that stick away, stick it first.
Indeed.
That is exactly what get out. Shout.
It's one of those ball moments. That's a great call by you, Luke. After going slider, slider, you got me thinking, oh, he's going to go with another one. Nope. Go with the fastball on the outside. Couldn't do anything but freeze him.
Yep, absolute paint. Love that pitch sequence there from Ochoa. Slider, slider. Gets him swinging on the second one. Doesn't want to strike out swinging on the third, but that time, fastball in the zone. Just catches the corner. Nothing that Leon Guerrero could do. So, gets his first out of the inning. And now he'll be out of the inning. Excuse me, there. Oh, he just needs any out.
To Andre Landeros to salvage the inning as 2 on, less than 2 out. Just like a little bit more of a detrimental outcome for the Boone and third. Nobody out with the situation. It's been dancing with Tiz over there at second base. It's been dancing around when he's at first, now dancing around when he's at second, trying to get in the pitcher's head in Ochoa.
With 2 outs here, you can check if you want to. I would just try and keep pitching, just keep it moving, get the out, get out of this inning. But Crawford definitely making some noise. Almost gets caught there. That'll definitely keep him closer to second.
I think that's the one exception with the pickoff move is That was such a large leap from Crawford. You almost had to give him a look, and you almost got him right there.
Yeah, very close on the pickoff attempt from Ochoa.
Now you know Crawford's more than likely not going to run, so you just got to attack the batter here knowing that his out's the only one that matters in this situation.
A good pitcher said, make think about it. But like we've said, Ochoa, gotta be focused on your bat and for the field out his pickoff move.
I think he's trying to know maybe how far he can go without potentially being a balk.
Definitely don't want a balk in this scenario. That would take off the put out.
Inside. 3-1.
3 balls now. Ochoa gonna be putting something in the zone. It'll be interesting to see if he goes back with that fastball or if he changes it up and throws the slider.
Like it's been his best pitch this inning, but in a 3-1 situation, may not get a chase. Just gotta hope you can get it in the zone. Instead goes fastball upstairs, and that's ball 4.
Just high with the fastball. That will load the bases and roll it back over to the top of the lineup. Samuel Jaramillo coming up, looking to do damage and give some more run support to his pitcher.
Jaramillo grounded out to third baseman in his first plate appearance. Maybe in 2 innings, you're going to need things on the offensive end. It's ball 1. And 2 innings, but gotta take care of business here against Jaramillo, which is he had 1-0 and he's now ahead 2 at the top of the lineup.
Nowhere to put him, so you got to throw strikes here. We've seen Ochoa been able and good stuff so far.
Already
have trouble finding here.
Surprisingly, the fastball that's been giving him issues. Typically, if there's ever a pitch. Pitcher can control it is that fastball because it doesn't move anywhere. That one jammed on the hands and foul. Fortunate for Jaramillo to watch it just sail to the right.
Good pitch there. Battles back. Gives himself a chance in this at bat.
Good PSEL battle here at Palm Springs Stadium. They got the palm trees in the background. The beautiful mountains just above the batter's eye, and a 2-1 to Jaramillo is fouled. 2-2. Gotten blessed this week with the weather. It hasn't been too blistering hot.
Sit on the field for that fireworks show. So definitely games are just comes with a fireworks show, and you can actually game to come to if you're in town. Like Sam said, there's been a beautiful week out here in Palm Springs.
The game of the year to come to. It's going to be a packed house here at Palm Springs Stadium. Arguably the best hot dogs across the desert. Come out, get a great dog, have a nice meal, get some fireworks, catch some great baseball. With the Power. They've been playing excellent as of late. Won their 6th in a row last night and are 18-3 on the year.
Full count, 2 outs. Payoff pitch, fouled back.
Big payoff pitch right there. For Jaramillo, not a pitch that he could do damage with, but one that was too close to take, so able to just foul it off, get another chance, and we'll do the payoff once more. Runners are going to be on the move here, so if a ball is hit into the outfield, there's a good chance that it could score 3, depending on where it lands.
I've got to imagine at least 2 are coming across. If it gets in one of those gaps, some decent speed at first from Landeros.
Even a ball if it goes all the way fence can score 3, and the runner 3, and the again, and this one popped in the air right field. Calling for it is the second base Hepner, and he will make the play for out number 3. Haymakers lead them loaded. They've left 4 stranded in scoring position already here in this ball game, and they'll take it to the top of the third, only up 1-0. We welcome you back here to Palm Springs Stadium. Top half of the third inning. Sam Egan joined alongside my buddy and good colleague, Luke Dreyer, as well as a fellow Big Ten guy now. So that one's popped in the air. Second base, and quickly one pitch and one out. A good, efficient start for Worthington in this third inning.
Yep, UCLA moving to the Big Ten 2 years ago, so I get the pleasure of watching us get beat down in football every year. One of the first Big Ten football games I went to was actually against Indiana. 2 years ago, first year that Kurt Signetti had taken over, and I believe you guys beat us 49-3.
I know it was a blowout. That was the first game that really put Indiana football on the map. And he beats it out. Infield single for Emmon. And look at the hustle, showing the wheels.
That was impressive. He got up that line in a flash.
Didn't hit that ball hard, but he was moving it down the line, and Infield shifted so far back. Was able to beat it out. Good hustle.
41 off the bat. That is probably in contention for the slowest single of the year. But great wheels and beats out the throw. Now he gets to stand on first base.
Yeah, so definitely taking some used to UCLA being in the Big Ten. And while probably even in basketball between the two schools, although you guys were probably better than us this year, although we beat you. Football, we're better, but baseball, it's all UCLA all day.
Yep, #1 team wire to wire during the regular season, and then got knocked off by St. Mary's twice in the postseason.
Seen some members of that St. Mary's team playing for the Powers. That's strike three and out number two. Leadoff hitter and Henry Luther strikes out for the second time today.
The name that comes to mind for the Power is Brett Williams. He has been one of, if not the best players for the Power this season.
Oh, he's been fantastic. It's now got, with the qualifying stats, playing 10-plus games, the highest batting average on base percentage, and he's starting to get up there for the RBI title as well. Swinging a straight play, and he grounded out to the pitcher back in the first.
Yeah, Worthington making quick work of these batters. Still has not thrown a ball yet this inning, knock on wood, now that I say that.
Well, we saw the announcers jinx last night as our Ethan Oliveras has been begging for a foul ball to come into the booth. And the chances have came, but just not when he's been in attendance. He finally got a close call, but it hits the top of the netting. 0-2. Choked up on the bat and trying to just put it in play is McLean, but Hit weakly to the right fielder in Washington, and he'll camp under it for out number 3. 3 innings of shutout ball from Worthkin. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We'll see how much longer he can keep this up. His offense looks to get him a little bit more help when we return on the PSEL YouTube channel. We welcome you back here to Palm Springs Stadium for the bottom half of the 3rd inning. A quick moving ball game so far, and we're going to knock on wood because we've seen some quick moving ball games come to a screeching halt in the blink of an eye, but the pitching performance so far between Ochoa and Worthkin has been fantastic, as that one is diving in off the glove of the center fielder in McLean. Would have been one of the best plays we've seen across the PSCL all season long, but instead, nice hit and a double for West.
That was close. Great swing from West there. 91 off the bat. Almost an amazing diving play out in center there. Just could not quite come up with it.
Let's not discredit the hits from Cade West. That was a great piece.
That was a great swing on the fastball there.
Gene Bianco was the lone RBI in this ballgame. That was a triple back in the 1st inning. Is looking to drive in the 2nd run of the ballgame with this time a runner in scoring position. His first RBI came after West was hit by a pitch. He was only at first base when he drove him in. So good hustle from West to go first to home. But also perfect placement on the ball to that right center field gap.
West has some great speed out there in center. Shows it on the base paths as well. We'll see what he can muster up here from second.
Base hit out of the infield more than likely scores him, you'd have to imagine. Bianco, Washington, then Martin are the 3 due up here. 2-0. Taken downstairs, called for a strike, 2-1. Bootleggers and the Haymakers. In our penultimate day of the PSCL, the last day of games is tomorrow, at least for the regular season, and for the Bootleggers as well, as they've already been eliminated from postseason contention. So the 8 teams that are going to make it are set. It's a matter of where they will be placed and who their first round matchup will be. Full count right now. Gene Bianco. We'll see another payoff pitch as he's having a great battle at the plate, and typically when you see long AB like this, more times than not, the hitter's going to win it.
Just doing a good job staying alive in this count. Looks like we're getting a 2-2 signal from the ump. So Ochoa trying to get the strikeout here. The count being 2-2.
Bianco OPS above 1,000, but swings
Gets
and misses
the
at
swing
strike
and
3.
miss. That was an ugly one there from Bianco. But a great pitch from Ochoa going to that slider.
Sometimes when you get to that 3-2 count, you're just so set on swinging the bat that you let a pitch that easily could have been ball 4 get away from you. Unfortunately, or fortunately for fortunately for Bianco, his teammate in West was able to get to third on the pass ball, so essentially was a sacrifice, but not in a conventional fashion. He probably would have gotten to third anyway on a walk. So an RBI opportunity now for Miles Washington, for a Haymakers team that's already left 3 stranded in scoring position and 4 in the ball game. With the postseason coming ever so closer, the last thing you want is to be in a bit of offensive funk and not be able to produce with runners in scoring position right as the postseason comes around, and Miles Washington will not do that. He drills one into right center field off the top of the wall. That'll be a stand-up double for him, and that'll play it across the run. 2-0 Haymakers.
That ball was absolutely tattooed. 100 off the bat, 393 feet. I don't know how that didn't leave. That was off the top of the Eisenhower Health sign. And if this wall was not 10 feet tall, that would easily have left. We have a huge stadium here out in Palm Springs, 350 to the corners, 400 to center, about a 10-foot wall all the way around. It really takes a big hit to get out of here. I thought that was going to be gone. Just quite not enough, but nonetheless, a absolutely fantastic swing from Miles Washington.
And the other thing as well is the wind hasn't been too big of a factor here today as it's been in the last few days. The wind was blowing in heavily, especially last night. And tonight a little bit different today it's a little bit different as essentially no wind, and that ball just caught air and almost got out of the ballpark.
Yeah, if this game was getting played at 7 p.m. instead of at noon, probably would have been a homer, but unfortunately doesn't quite get out of here. Still gets up the RBI. Now he's looking for the run to come around. Trying to battle back, trying to battle back.
Something unique is typically in most environments when it's the daytime, when it's a little bit warmer, the ball carries more just because it's warmer. And the ball carries more in heat as that one is lined and caught by the second baseman, but Washington able to get back to second base immediately to avoid the double play.
So Martin with 2 hard lineouts here. Good contact on both, but just can't quite get into the outfield. But like you were saying, ball does tend to travel well in the heat. Except out here in Palm Springs, doesn't cool down a lot at night. Gets down to about 80. But we have probably a 10-mile-an-hour wind pushing to right field every single night out here. So any ball that gets lifted out to right field has a chance to go. But it really takes a swing to push it out to left field. We saw one last night from R.J. Holmes with 101 off the bat, hit it at 381. But I don't think I've seen a homer out to left field that hasn't been more than 100 off the bat yet from a power player.
I have seen one, and that was Alex Hasso, who I believe had one at 95 off the bat. But with the exception of that one, definitely hard to come by.
A 1-0 count here to Corselman. He's looking for an RBI after 98-mile-an-hour line out to center in his first at-bat. That one misses just high. I'll go in 2-0.
And the other thing that's really deceptive about this ballpark, too, is you see the mountains in the background, so you're thinking, oh, elevation, the ball's going to carry because the air is thinner. Not the case. Washington thought about going for a second and disregards as The count moves to 3-0. Last thing you want to do with 2 outs, and especially in a count that's moving to 3-0, is make the 3rd out of the inning. Washington understanding the importance of his run at second base and stays put.
Healthy lead at second. Checking a little bit. Throws it down. Gets the strike call. But like you mentioned, I think I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure the elevation in Palm Springs is right around 500 feet above sea level. So almost nothing working there in terms of elevation. So just the heat as a factor. Wind definitely plays a factor.
Chopped in the ground, shortstop Henry Luther makes the play, makes the throw. In time for out number 3. So the Haymakers do get 1 in the inning, but yet leave another runner stranded in scoring position. That's 4 in scoring position that have been left stranded, but a 2-run lead nevertheless, and they're hoping Worthkin, who's been dominant so far, can continue to put up zeros when we return on the PSCL here on YouTube. On the PSEL YouTube channel, Sammy joined alongside Luke Dreyer for the top half of the 4th inning here between the Bootleggers and the Haymakers, and the Bootleggers only down 2. While nothing left to officially compete for but pride. I feel like sometimes when you're in this situation, it could be really fun to play spoiler and put a damper on someone's momentum or potentially worsen someone's playoff positioning.
Yeah, even though the Bootleggers aren't playing for a playoff spot anymore, you never want to lose. So they're definitely still looking for a win here. And Haymakers trying to get a better seed, as they're still fighting for seeding for the playoffs.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe each playoff team gets to take a player from the Bootleggers? Or is it just a pitcher?
I am not sure about that rule.
So some rules analysts from our equivalent of Gene Sarator, Stephen Buxton, filling us in on each team gets a one round, essentially an expansion draft, going from the 8 seed all the way to the 1 seed in that order, getting 1 player from this Bootleggers team. And then following that, for each team that gets eliminated from the postseason, the team that they beat, they get to get 1 pitcher from that team.
Definitely an interesting way of doing it. I honestly like it, though, because it means that we get to see more of these guys. It would be a shame if some of them were unable to keep playing. That one skied up in the infield, and that one will fall as the first baseman and catcher could not decide who was going to grab it.
Well, I think here's the catcher trying to make a play on that, and Martin, he was just calling for it initially, but that's one I feel has got to be the first baseman all the way. Londeros got a chance at it. Maybe take a little bit more initiative to try and make that play, because it's a lot tough for a catcher to try and make that play on that angle as opposed for the first baseman.
Yeah, just a little miscommunication there, and Jungers will be thankful that he gets to see another pitch here.
See if he can take advantage of it now in an even count 2-2. Jungers, Hassler, Kepner. They're hoping Neal will hit fourth in this inning and could potentially come up with a chance to drive in some runs. Takes, ball 3. That one looked like it had the zone, and it indeed did, according to our track man. So got to get a similar pitch.
It just missed outside there, but that one misses inside, and after a dropped pop-up and a fortunate ball call, Jungers will be walking down to first. Almost seems like a miracle after those two pitches.
So if I'm Jungers, I think the first thing I'm doing after this game is I'm going to the closest gas station and I'm buying a lottery ticket. Because he should have been out twice in that inning. Maybe if he's feeling real lucky, he might have to go hit the casino.
That always sounds like a bad idea.
That one is smoked foul.
That one goes right into the batting cages up on our third base line. 96 off the bat. Just can't keep it fair.
Had the right launch angle and exit velo. Unfortunately, was just a tad early. We're here in our Agua Caliente broadcast booth. Sam Egan joined alongside Luke Dreyer. And Washington will make the catch for out number 1. 0-1 to Hassler. So up steps Kepner, who had the double, and one of only 2 hits for the Bootleggers so far. They're hoping another double here can drive in the first run of the ball game.
Worthkin going to check the runner first. I believe that is a courtesy runner, yes, because Jungers is a catcher, so he does get a courtesy runner. That one on a line into center, ranging over. McLean will make the catch. Or excuse me, that is Cole West. Flip the teams there for the second out of the inning.
It's the outfield getting heavily involved. Washington making it out for the first one of the inning. Colt West making the second out of the inning. So the stat of trends goes correctly here. John Grant has got to be on his toes in left field. Not a typical matchup where you see the lefty go the opposite way. Up steps Stephen Neal. Instead, Dr. Stephen Neal Jr. running for Superintendent of Public Instruction in Arizona will be on the ballot out there in November. As Neal, the sun drives one up the middle. Diving stop, and what a play I thought they had no chance at getting Neal at first base. The dive, the stop, and the throw all on point. And once again, Worthkin wiggles out of the jam and gets himself another 0. His team holds a 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th here on the PSCL YouTube channel. Come back for more PSCL action after being halfway home. A quick moving ball game between the Haymakers and the Bootleggers resumes for the bottom half of the 4th inning and the second half of this ball game. Tyler Crawford leading things off. He walked with 1 out in the second inning and was left stranded at third base. It'll be Crawford, Worthkin, then Guerrero. Open. 4th guy due up in Landeros can also get a chance to hit. Crawford, big wave and a miss. The first 2 pitches. A couple of baseballs. That one unquestionably missed. It didn't even reach the full 55 feet to get to the plate. Didn't even show up so our track, man. So it's 1-0.
Haymakers still do not have anybody warming up in the pen. So we will see Worthkin out again for the top of the 5th. He will be making a case for a complete game as he still has not allowed a run and only given up 2 hits on the day. A very impressive game so far from Worthkin.
I think with the postseason coming up, trying to preserve your high leverage arms for as long as possible. So if you can get a complete game, that would be huge. But I think the other factor into that asset is you don't want to work his pitch count up too high, because if it gets too high, then he can't throw in the postseason, or at least for that first or second game. And there's no guarantee after tomorrow that you're playing tomorrow in the postseason, so you have to have as many guys available as you possibly can.
Yep, definitely understand game start. I'd imagine it's going to be one of the Crawford brothers.
I'd agree, 100%.
So he does, that ball is roped into left field, and that is out number 3. But like we're saying, Worthgen will probably not be the first game slider in the playoffs. It probably will be one of the Crawford brothers. So he will have an extra day's rest. But making a case, we will see him back out here for the top of the 5th, most likely. But we will be back with you after this short break.
here to the PSL. We have a great ball game in store. 2-1, the Haymakers narrowly ahead over the Bootleggers. And just moments ago on our PSCL Instagram page, which if you haven't checked it out and given us a follow, you should go give us a follow. And our social media team, spearheaded by Brooke Morris, just put out a really fun post where they asked a lot of the players here across the PSCL, what's a piece of advice that you'd give to your younger self? And saw a lot of great answers, whether it was personal in life or in baseball. So, Luke, I'm going to turn that question over to you. And what's a piece of advice that you'd give to yourself, or at least a piece of advice you'd give to yourself?
I think the one that sticks out the most, probably just do what you love. I think working out here for the Palm Springs Power and the PSCL has made me how much I love working with sports. Originally, when I went to college, that was not what I had signed.
Fastball's been the bread and butter. He goes with it, but it misses downstairs, ball 4. So after 4 successful innings from Jamie Ochoa right now, despite only giving up 2 runs, he's on pace for the loss. And it's a leadoff walk to get things started for Ryerson.
That is a very unfortunate outing for Jamie Ochoa. 1 run away from his team from not getting tagged with the loss. Now he's in line for it unless his team can get some more offense going in the last 2 innings.
So far, I went 1-2-3 in that 4th inning. Thought he pitched well enough to extend that leash a little bit, but instead they turn it over to Ryerson, and now trouble brewing.
Yeah, he'd given up a couple base runners. Pitch count was starting to get elevated. That one is in the air up the first base line. Foul territory. now the zone has really opened up for Ryerson. He's gotten 2 strike calls on that curveball. Might try and bounce it below the zone now. Got to be worried about a pass ball to score a run. But with 2 strikes getting called, you got to think Bianco's in protect mode here. You wonder if he goes right back to that curveball and tries to get a swing and miss.
Done a good job of being in the pitcher's head so far today. That one popped in the air right field. Will be caught. They're going to try and touch the arm out in right field, and good idea as the runner will tag and score, and everyone but the guy at first moves up 90 feet. And the Haymakers get their lead right back up to 2 and get that run back.
So he does indeed go back to that curveball. That one, not great contact, little short fly ball into the outfield, but they can't get the runner at home. Pretty good legs on Andre Landeros, and Jaramillo able to slide into third. Now runners at the corners with 1 out.
Smiles Washington being tasked with planning across another run here, and it's making it a little bit tougher for the Bootleggers. That one well left and foul. 0-1.
Ryerson going back to this curveball. It's working pretty well for him. They haven't been able so far. Had a really hard line out. He'll be looking to put that in the gap this time.
On paper, the over 2 day doesn't Now it's 1-2. Ball, 2 strikes. Youngers, who's already walked in this ball game, is, I think that's strike 3. It should have been strike 3. No? May have saw a pitch I thought was called a strike, called a ball, and said it's 2-2. One on the ground foul. So we'll do the 2-2 once more.
Martin did get tagged with a run in the last inning. We'll be looking to put up a 0 here and keep his team at the 3-run lead. That one will be just high. Push the count full. And with the middle of the order coming up, this is the spot that has been doing damage. So center going to be trying to get out of it. Over the head of the center fielder. That will fly up off the wall. Runner is pushing for third. He is out, and that was not a great decision to run to third there. Great swing, 92 off the bat, 376 feet to dead center, so not quite going to get out over that 400-foot wall, but a great swing nonetheless, but gets caught trying to take third after a pretty good relay from the Haymakers.
Luke, you're pretty good at this play-by-play thing. Had a nice call there, a little chaotic play, and especially in a 3-run game where you need base runners a little bit more than you need outs, that's such an unforced error to make. And I feel like for Jungers, the ball was already into the cutoff man when he was only and you go back to the first play of the inning, and that looms ever larger because on that base hit, because it was hit not hard to the outfield, that likely scores the runner in Jungers. Tepner's at first base with 1 out, and the tying runs come into play instead of trying to force upon a 2-out rally.
Yep. So Doran Rivera pinch hitting today for Stephen Neal. He will step into the box for his first at-bat. Swing and a miss. Strike number 2, and Isaiah Martin once again 1 strike away from getting out of this inning.
Twin brother Declan Rivera also a member of the Bootleggers as well. Rivera trying to get the first hit out of the 6th
Crawford brothers and the Worthkin brothers on the Haymakers. You have the Rivero brothers on the Bootleggers.
Some brotherly love here across the PSCL, and now the 1-2 is on the ground, fielded cleanly. The throw over is in time for out number 3. An impressive throw by Bianco to show off the cannon to get the third out of the inning. Haymakers still lead 4-1. Trying to prevent this from being a safe situation and tacking on at least one more when we get back with more PSCL action here on the PSCL YouTube channel. And we welcome you back for the penultimate inning here of this ball game, the penultimate frame. We're going to imagine, unless the Bootleggers can string across a comeback. 0-1 count here to Tyler Crawford. Struck out, looking to start the 4th inning, and he's leading off his 2nd frame here today. A ball and a strike here as Crawford looks for his first hit on the day. 1-1. Now 2-1 Tyler Crawford. The guy who some guys in this press box feel is due for a hit here in this ball game. We'll see if he was indeed due. Ground ball to the shortstop, Henry Luther Fields, throws an out number 1. Worthkin and Guerrero, the bottom 2. Worthkin, the EH in this game, then Guerrero is playing out in left field.
I believe Worthkin has moved to catcher now with Isaiah Martin throwing on the mound, but
I think you're correct.
Martin gets a break from squat position. That one.
continue to correlate a result. Ten-hitter in Landeros, he's standing in the on-deck circle. A pair of walks for him in this game if it gets there, and we may see indeed another walk as it's 3-0.
So going into the top of the 7th, what would most likely be the Bootleggers' last inning of baseball. What is your mindset stepping up to the plate there?
And I think for them, it's you just got to get on and get over. We saw last inning trying to go for the extra base. Didn't work as there's ball 4 to Bianco. I'm sorry, to Guerrero. But that was something that was a bit of an Achilles heel for them, was instead of this being a 4-2 ball game and having a little bit of a better chance, now you're chasing 3 runs, so it's ever more important you get guys on, whether it's a walk, whether it's a base hit. It doesn't matter how you get on and you get yourself over. And you can't be aggressive on the base paths either. Last thing you need is to run yourself into even more outs.
Yep, top 7, just trying to plate some runs. Got to do it the old-fashioned way. First thing you get out of this inning, though, Ryerson finds a strike there on the curveball again.
He's been struggling with command a bit. He had fired in 5 straight balls prior to that one being delivered in right there. And Gino Bianco warming up in the Haymakers pen. Will he be tasked of getting the save? One of 2 guys on this Haymakers team that's wearing the number 3, so can cause some confusion at times, but fortunately him and Guerrero separated far enough in the batting order to where it doesn't cause too many problems. But
good piece of hitting there from Landeros, just poking it into right field.
Bianco might have to ramp up these warm-ups as following Landeros. If Landeros is able to get on, he'll be in the hole. One out. That one on the ground. Luther Fields throw over to first base, and it'll be in time for out Gino Bianco, excuse me, to be tasked
Haymakers
with the save.
have a 3-run lead.
Need 3 to tie, 4 to win. We'll
need
be
to
right
keep
back
it
here
at
with
that.
the PSCL.
It's looking like
on
it's
the
going to
PSCL
be
YouTube channel. from John Guerrero, and a critical first out here, and a ground ball could put this one on ice.
That one had the benefit of being in foul territory, so even if he dropped it, would not have punished him too hard, but always nice to make the catch and give your pitcher the first out.
One pitch, one out after the mound visit, so whatever was said, it seemed to work. Got to see if they're going to try and continue to attack Clark Emmett here, who's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles today. They do, and he swings and misses at the first pitch, a high and in fastball, and he just gets under it and goes straight back, 0-1.
Yeah, hard contact into right field last time for Amon. He'll be looking to put it in the gap this time instead of letting the right fielder get to it. Might be able to score 2 if he's able to do that.
Takes a pitch downstairs. That one didn't miss by much, but it did miss. That's one. Good call by the home plate umpire. Ball and strike one out. Tying run here at the plate. It's the 10-hole hitter in Emmon. Top of the card, due up, and Henry Luther. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. That one is up in the air and towards Sunrise Park and foul.
Not a super confident swing there with Amon. Does a good job to just get barrel on it and foul it off, but now down 1-2. Probably going to shorten up, just look to hit something into the outfield. Maybe look to beat out another throw like he did earlier in the game.
Try and put something in play, take it the opposite way. With that big gap in between first and second base. Try and play it across at least one and get yourself aboard.
Both of his hits so far are to the right side, so interesting shift here from the Haymakers defense, leaving that big gap there.
3-2.
Might be working a walk here, though, after being down 1-2.
That would be worst case scenario on the mound for Martin, and just a situation where a walk is so detrimental.
Moves the count to full. Martin's got to get it in the zone here if he wants to prevent the bases from getting loaded.
That one instead popped up in the air and to our right, and will be a souvenir for a fan as he tracks it down through the bleachers. Beautiful. Another payoff pitch upcoming here. The Valley. Palm Springs Stadium here in Palm Springs, California. As that one's lifted in the air, left field. Guerrero ranging back on it at the track and will make the catch for out number 2. Some hard hit baseballs, just to the hardest hit to take the baseball out of, and that's left field, and that's quickly 2 away.
Amon finding the barrel, 85 off the bat. Pretty good piece of hit, and just not quite enough on it to get it over the head of Guerrero, who, all things considered, makes a great play, flipping the hips around, backhanding it. And you got to be thinking that first drop of the inning was probably on his mind. So great job of making that play, staying focused despite the error earlier. And he puts his team 1 out away from another win right before the playoffs.
And he's had the last 2 putouts since, and it's kind of how it goes, right? You make that one error and you're hoping the ball doesn't come back at you. So you can't, make it worse. But, of course, the ball keeps finding him. But fortunate for him, he's made the plays, and now his team 1 out away from victory. And if you're Guerrero, you almost got to expect now that this one's going to come at me. 0-1. One popped in the air and under. So a lot of contact has Martin, a lot of pop-ups. But it's either been weak contact straight back or just missing the fence out in left field.
Yeah, something about that fastball. Just doing a pretty good job of making these balls either go foul or keep them hittable, or keep them fieldable, rather. So 1 strike away from getting the save here. Can he do it?
The 0-2 to Luther, who already has 3 strikeouts, and takes that one. Runners on the move, and while it won't matter too much, 2 runners in scoring position, but Luther just needs to get himself on base anyway. just able to get the slightest sliver of a piece. But staying alive is Luther. He does not want that golden sombrero.
Yeah, Martin challenges him with 2 fastballs. He's just able to catch a piece. You wonder, now that he's seen a few in a row, do you think he will be able to put this one in play if he gets another one?
I was just going to ask you a similar question. Do you even give him another fastball, or do you go to the breaking ball and try and get him to swing through it?
I think you got to go to the fastball here. Has barely made contact with the last 2. Try and get the swing and miss
for
on the
Henry
fastball.
Luther. Goes breaking balls to end
Got
the
him
ball
looking.
game. Haymakers.
That's the ball
get
game
the
and a
job done.
golden
They will
sombrero.
get the win. And a team that's looked like one of the better teams in the PSEL in the second half of the season take yet another ball game. This one by a score of 4-1.
Haymakers pick up the win, possibly improve their seed heading into the playoffs. Bootleggers drop yet another in what has been a disappointing season as a whole for the team. But some of their seasons will continue as they will get picked up by the other teams around the league. And it'll be interesting to see what these lineups look like with the new additions.
So that'll do it for our telecast here of the PSEL. One more day of the regular season, then the postseason of the PSEL is underway, and a lot to be determined tomorrow afternoon.